Here's a demo of threading in Umajin. So what I'm going to demonstrate here is a piece of string that I'm controlling with my mouse cursor, and it's interacting with all of these floating objects, which I can sort of knock around using the string, so they kind of interact together. So the trick here is that the rendering and the mouse input is all done on the primary thread, and then the calculations are all done on the background thread. So let's have a quick look at how that's done. So there's a new concept inside Umajin script called a mutex. So this is the ability to lock part of the scene for access, so that I can make sure that it's not two threads accessing it at the same time. And Umajin's always been multi-threaded, but that's reserved for objects. If you want to write your own code, they've always executed in the main thread. So this is just a normal base class. In here I've got my initialization function, I've got a verlet physics function, I've got some physics constraints, checking the walls, checking if I'm colliding with a piece of string, and I've got a render function which does the drawing. I've then got the same concept, another object. This one's the string itself, so it has the same init, verlet, constraints, and render. And then I've got this new object called a thread, which is in this case a physics thread. And what that basically is going to do is use this condition variable as a flag to know when it's supposed to be doing work. So in the core thread process, which is what runs hard out in the background, it's basically going to sit on that very, very low resource usage for this thread. It's going to sit there waiting for up to 16 milliseconds or until we set that flag to true, until we tell it there's work to do. It resets the flag back to false. It locks the mutex, so that just means that when it accesses things, it's going to make sure in that mutex they're not accessible by other people, which is basically the string position, the floater position. It's then going to unlock the mutex, so it's now available for other threads to use, and then it's going to check if it has to quit. It's just a flag to just give it some time to check. This is the user interface, and there's the image buffer, there's the display of the image buffer, and then here's this timer. So this timer runs every 16 milliseconds in the main thread. And what this does is it just normal inline main code, does a reset of the buffer, then it locks the physics because it needs to make sure that when it reads these values back out, they're not being written to by the physics engine. So it locks the physics mutex, reads out the position of the floaters and the strings, unlocks the mutex, and then tells the thread it's now welcome to do its work in the background. This is just the normal starting of the thread, and this is the quitting of the thread. So yeah, so very, very simple mechanism for basically taking traditional Umajin code, controlling who has access to the scene tree, and sparking up and running threads in the background. Cheers.